Welcome to FNaF News. I'm your host, the Team Muffin, and today we're going to be talking about Youtooz, Hex, books, and more. We've got some Hex news, which is that they made a tweet saying, "Don't wake the baby," with this image attached. Now this is basically the FNaF 4 Halloween Edition teaser, where you brighten it up and see Nightmarionne behind the bed, except there is a little bit of a difference. Nightmarionne appears to be a slightly different version. I assume it's an early version of the Hex plush of it, because apparently we're getting a plushie of Nightmarionne. Now that's some pretty big news, because Nightmarionne doesn't have a plushie yet, not from any company. It's a very popular character. The puppet plush they made was very liked among fans, so this is a great thing for them to make. I believe we've heard a little bit of something about this in the past, but this further confirms that it's happening, and that's very exciting. Can't really see much here, but from what we can see, it looks like Nightmarionne, so pretty cool. And then a small piece of Youtooz news here is that we got a new image of the Steve Raglan figure. Looks pretty good. I mean, it's exactly the same as the drawing we saw in the past, but you know, we get a better look at what it's going to look like in the 3D form, and this also, you know, confirms to us that it is going to be a separate figure of Steve Raglan. In my last video, I wasn't sure if like this was the same figure as Spring Bonnie and this was just the artwork on the back, or if they were two separate figures. It's very confirmed that it's two separate figures, which I'm happy about. I think this looks like a cool figure. We already saw the drawing before, but it's nice to see the 3D model. I think it looks cool, and I'm excited to get it. They also revealed some other stuff from the movie wave, like the Abby plush. We've heard about this plush before, but I don't believe we've gotten any artwork or teasers, so this is our first look. As far as human plushies go, I think it looks pretty cute. You've got that little uwu mouth there, you've got the sweater on. Looks pretty accurate, I guess, to Abby from the movie. Unfortunately, the sweater does have a lot of printed on color, but it's a lot of detail, so that's expected. Nothing too interesting about it because it is just a human. Nothing too interesting about the character itself. So, for what it is, I guess it looks good. We also get our first look at the head for the Yellow Rabbit figure. Not the traditional way we get teasers for figures. Instead of just a drawing or a close look at one, it's them as a Star Wars character. I believe this was posted on May 4th for May the 4th Be With You, where they had this Star Wars poster and they turned it into Youtooz figures. And I guess from what we can see of the figure, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty similar to the Springtrap figure we got in the past, which makes sense because they are the same character. We don't see the rest of the figure here because he has a bunch of clothes on, but all we need to see is the head, because we already saw the body in the past. So now we can put them together and get the full figure. Another figure they showed us, I think qualifies as a figure, is the Moon Nightlight. So you can see him glowing here. I believe it's like a white and blue nightlight. I don't know, a little hard to tell with the colors there. But the model looks pretty good, looks pretty accurate to the moon. It looks pretty similar to the sun nightlight we got in the past, because, you know, this is the part 2 to that, I guess you could say. These are also nice because the sun and moon figure that they released in the past was limited time. These things aren't, so if you weren't able to get that, you can get these guys instead. Some pretty cool news here is that on Steelwolf Studios' Help Wanted 2 playlist on YouTube, a hidden video appeared onto there, and they tweeted the eyes emoji. We thought this was going to be some pretty big news. To some people it might be, but the video became public, and it was a trailer for Help Wanted 2 on Quest, which we now know is coming on May 9th. Depending on when this video comes out, it's either out now or it's coming soon, so some pretty exciting news for Quest users. From the trailer, it looks pretty good. I can't really tell much of a quality difference on this compared to the original game, so this looks pretty sweet. You know, a little bit disappointed that it wasn't anything like a DLC, but it's probably better to get the ports out before DLC's release anyway. Slight bit of movie news here is that MatPat did one of those interviews where he answers the internet's questions, one of them asking if he'll be in the next FNaF movie, and he said, "I don't know. Time will tell. My schedule's open, Scott." So he doesn't know if he's going to be in the next movie. He's open to it if there's a good role for him. I will say, though, you know, he was already in the last one as a waiter. You know, he had speaking lines, he was very much on screen, so if they had him in the movie, he would have to have the same role. I don't know why they would need to go back to that spot, so I would assume he's not going to be in the movie, because it would be weird to have him as two separate characters, but he's open to it. I will say, though, although I don't think he's going to be in movies in the future, they did say they're going to do spin-offs, so if they end up doing some separate universe stuff, he could very well be characters in that. since, you know, different universe, he doesn't need to be a waiter anymore. So that could be a possibility since he does seem open to it. Speaking of alternate universes, we've got some news on books. First one here is that we got a cover revealed for a Tales from the Pizzaplex graphic novel. You can clearly see there it's Ballora on the cover doing a little finger wag telling you to come here, something like that. And apparently this is going to be including 3 stories which are under construction, Haps and Cleithrophobia, I don't know, but that's the one with Ballora in it, I think. And this is going to be releasing on March 5th, 2025. So very long time from now, 10 months. But, you know, eventually we're going to be getting Tales from the Pizzaplex graphic novels, which is pretty cool. I guess that means we're not going to be getting graphic novels for every Fazbear Fright story, which is a little bit unfortunate, because I don't want to read the full stories. I would rather read the graphic novels, but, you know, I'm excited to see some Tales stuff. The other thing is that we got a cover revealed for another interactive novel called Return to the Pit. We got a thing like this revealed before with Freddy on the cover. This one clearly has Spring Bonnie, because it's going to be based on the story Into the Pit, which we're also getting a game of this year, so lots of Into the Pit stuff coming. I'll read the description out for you here, which says, dive into an interactive retelling of one of the most popular FNaF stories and the basis for an all-new video game, Into the Pit. You, the reader, are Oswald, and after using the ball pit at Jeff's Pizza to travel back in time to 1985, you've brought a sadistic animatronic back into the present. Can you escape? Or will it be a game over for you and your friends? With over 25 possible endings and 2 difficulty settings, this one-of-a-kind, innovative novel is a uniquely entertaining experience for any Freddy fan. So yeah, another interactive novel here, this one based around Into the Pit, where we get to choose our own pathways, I guess, hopefully trying to save some of our friends, because as we know, he kills a lot of people in that story, Spring Bonnie does. So maybe we can save them, maybe we can save our father, maybe he'll die, maybe we'll die. I'm not sure. There's 25 possible endings, so a lot of things there. Also, 2 difficulty settings. I still don't know what that means. How do you have a difficulty setting on a book? This gotta be like a huge book, surely. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty interesting. I haven't seen any, like, interactive books like this with 25 endings. That seems really interesting to me, especially with the difficulty settings, so I'm pretty curious to check this out, even though I don't like reading. Next thing here is that Kane Carter made a tweet saying, holy moly, a big exclusive scoop. The Split Skull Springtrap art piece by Cian at Turntail Art has been spotted as a poster design and a full color shirt at Spencer's in the US. Let's go. I guess I should have done a British accent there, but yeah, there's that. I don't usually talk about when new posters or shirts are released, but this is some really cool art. I think this is probably one of the coolest FNaF posters we've gotten so far, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Speaking of Kane, he also made this tweet on the MyPOPGOES account saying, hope you like fishing mini games, ... with a fishing emoji. I don't know exactly what this means. I assume it's going to be related to myPOPGOES, a game that's coming to Steam pretty soon. Maybe there's some type of fishing mini-game in there, because we know there are little mini-games inside of that, because there's that long POPGOES thing, which seems to be like Snake. Maybe there's another thing that's some type of fishing mini-game as well. But that is all the news we have today, so if you want to subscribe, you can click the button on top of my head. If you want to watch one of my last news videos, you can click that button over there. And if you want to see some other video I made, you can click that button over there. And I'll see you when we get some more news on the FNaF movie wave of Youtooz merch.